The beginning of doubt. Skeptics are the gatekeepers of truth. They challenge, question, and demand proof when others only offer fear. But in 1994, one case broke them. It began in a remote part of Vermont, where hikers stumbled across a weather-beaten box hidden beneath a collapsed hunting cabin. Inside were reels of audio tape, a leather-bound journal, and scattered black-and-white photographs. At first glance, the find seemed unremarkable, the remains of some hermit's life. But when the tapes were played, the story changed. The first tape. If you're hearing this, it means I didn't make it out. I thought I could ignore it, pretend it wasn't real, but it followed me. It knows my name now. God forgive me, I shouldn't have gone back. Skeptics dismissed the discovery at first. A hoax, they said, amateur theatrics. But the journal found alongside the tape suggested otherwise. Journal entry, September 14, 1967. I woke up to the sound again, like someone calling just outside the cabin. Not quite a voice, not quite an echo. I can't explain it. Every time I shine the light, nothing's there, but I found tracks in the mud. Too deep, too wide, not human. Interview, retired journalist. When I first read those pages, I thought paranoia. But then I heard the tape. You can hear the fear in his voice. And trust me, nobody fakes that kind of terror. The skeptics assemble. By 1995, the tapes had reached the Vermont Historical Society, where they caught the attention of skeptical investigators, scientists, journalists, and professors who built their reputations dismantling stories of the unexplained. For them, this was an opportunity, one more myth to crush. But as they listened, page by page, tape by tape, they realized this case wasn't so simple. Newspaper headline, 1995. Skeptics confront chilling discovery in Vermont woods. It was the first time skeptics didn't laugh. And that was only the beginning, because the deeper they went into the evidence, the harder it became to explain away. And soon, even the skeptics stopped asking if it was real. They started asking if they would survive knowing the truth. The photographs. The box contained 12 photographs. At first, ordinary landscapes, trees, rivers, the collapsed cabin itself. But then, the last 3. Photo descriptions for narration. A blurred figure standing between 2 trees, too tall to be human. A shot of the cabin window, a pale face reflected in the glass, though the photographer was alone. A final frame, blackness. But in the corner, faint and unmistakable, a hand pressed against the lens. Interview, photographer-analyst. Authenticity checks showed no evidence of double exposure, tampering, or forgery. These were original negatives. That's when the skeptics got quiet. The second tape. It doesn't want me to leave. Every night it comes closer. The forest is wrong here, too quiet. I buried the photos. If anyone finds them, don't look too long. It hates being seen. Even the most rational skeptic struggles with raw emotion. And in those tapes, the fear wasn't fabricated. It was survival recorded moment by moment. The investigators break. Interview, Dr. Harold McKay, skeptic researcher, 1995. I dedicated my life to debunking myths, but I couldn't debunk that man's voice. I couldn't explain the footprints, the photographs, or the way the journal matched the tapes word for word. I'll admit it, I didn't sleep for weeks. The missing link. Then came the discovery that shifted everything. Buried in the final pages of the journal was a map, a crude drawing of the forest marked with an X. Against their better judgment, the skeptics decided to follow it. Journal entry October 2nd, 1967. If anyone comes after me, this is where I last heard it breathe. What they found was not just unsettling. It was evidence so undeniable that it forced skeptics into silence. The dig site. The skeptics described a clearing where the earth looked disturbed. They dug. A few feet down they found bones, human bones, wrapped in decayed fabric with a camera still clutched in the remains of a hand. The film inside the camera had long decayed, but the presence of the body confirmed what no one wanted to admit. The tapes were not staged. The man who recorded them had died exactly where he said he would. The skeptics had set out to destroy a myth. Instead, they uncovered evidence so raw, so undeniable, that it shattered their certainty forever. But the most disturbing revelation was still waiting on the final tape. The last recording. It's inside now. I can hear it moving. It doesn't need to knock anymore. If you find this tape, don't listen to the end. The audio cuts to silence. Then faint, layered voices whispering the names of the skeptics who later found the tapes. That was impossible. The recording was made in 1967. The skeptics who heard it were children at the time, and yet their names were there. The collapse. Interview. Former skeptic, anonymous. That was it for me. I quit the investigation. I never went back to that cabin. Because if it could say my name before I'd even been there, then it wasn't just watching him. It was waiting for us. The evidence that terrified skeptics. The tapes, the photos, the journal, they were cataloged. But the final recording was sealed. Too many skeptics had broken under the weight of it. Some never spoke of it again. Others disappeared quietly from public life. Final twist. And perhaps that's the most disturbing part of all. Not that the evidence exists, not that it terrified skeptics, but that no matter how much we demand proof, sometimes the proof is waiting for us to listen, waiting for us to look too closely. And once you do, you can never unsee it.